Okay, we can do a little bit of work on changing the subject of a formula. Excuse my scruffy handwriting, I'm sure it's going to get better as we go on. Okay, so let's start with a fairly straightforward example. We've got this formula, y brackets x plus 1 equals 5, and we want to rearrange that so that x is the subject. So we wanted to get it to the point where it says x equals something. First job then for us is to get rid of these brackets. So let's expand the brackets out. X times y, y times x will give us xy, y times 1 is y, equals 5 again, outside. We want to make x a subject, so let's get rid of this plus y, and do that we could subtract y from both sides. That's going to give us xy equals 5 minus y, and we're nearly there now. All we need to do is to get x on its own on this left hand side. So to do that, let's divide through by y. That will give us x on the left hand side, and it will give us 5 minus y over y on the right hand side. So that was fairly straightforward. Let's try a slightly harder one. Okay, so now we've got x brackets y plus 1 equals y brackets 2x plus 1. Okay, so we're going to multiply out the brackets first of all. That's going to give us xy plus x equals 2xy plus y. We want to collect up the x's on the left hand side again. It doesn't have to be the left hand side, it could be either side. Left hand side is probably just as good as any in this case. So we're going to get xy plus x. We're going to subtract 2xy from this one. Equals y on the right hand side. Okay, so just notice in there we've got like terms here. We've got xy and we've got minus 2xy, so we could work on those like terms. 1xy, take away 2xy is going to give us negative xy, so then we've got x negative xy equals y. Okay, we've got x in both terms here, so x is a common factor. We can take that out as a common factor. X brackets 1 minus y equals y. Just check that again by multiplying it out in your head. X times 1 is x, that works. X times minus y is minus xy, that's fine. Okay, so we're nearly there now. We've got x equals, and to get that, all we've got to do is divide both sides by this 1 minus y. So that gives us y over 1 minus y on this right hand side. Okay, excellent. Let's keep going then. Let's try some slightly harder ones now. So, what have we got? We've got y equals x minus 2 over x plus 3. Okay, and we want to make x the subject again. So what we can do here, maybe even helps to put brackets around this for a second just to see what's going on. We want to get rid of this x plus 3 that's in the denominator of this fraction. And to do that, we can multiply both sides by x plus 3. So that would give us y brackets x plus 3 equals x minus 2. Okay, expand the brackets out. Xy plus 3y equals x minus 2. And collect up the x's on the same side. Xy minus x equals negative 2, negative 3y. Looks a bit strange, but we're going to deal with that in a minute. Let's worry about this side first of all. We've got x as a common factor in both terms, so let's take that out. Y minus 1 there, okay, and let's take out minus 1 as a common factor here, so that would give us 2 plus 3y. We can always check these by expanding them out in our heads. X times y is xy, x times minus 1 is minus x, that's fine. Minus 1 times 2 is minus 2, minus 1 times 3y is minus 3y. So that looks all fine there. It's worth checking as you go. Okay, so we're still trying to get x equals, and we're nearly there. We've got it to this point, and we can divide through by y minus 1. So now we've got this. all. We're going to divide through by minus 1, so there's that. And we're nearly there. We could leave it like that, and it's not too untidy like that, but we can actually get rid of this minus 1. And just a little sneaky trick. If we imagine dividing minus 1 into the bottom here, so let's just do it like this. There's nothing to say you couldn't have this as the same thing as minus 1. 1 over minus 1 is the same thing as minus 1. Then we can write it like that. 2 plus 3y over y minus 1 there. Okay, and then if we multiply the bottom by this minus 1, we're going to get this. We're going to get x equals 2 plus 3y over 1 minus y, because minus 1 times y is minus y, minus 1 times minus 1 is positive 1. So that's just tidied it up a little bit further than it was up here. A fine touch, really. Okay, so one more to go, and I'm going to give you some questions that are pretty tough actually to have a go at. Let's try this one. 1 over x plus 1 over y equals 3. Okay, so in this case we want to get rid of the x denominator and the y denominator, and the easiest thing to do that is to multiply through by the term xy. So if you imagine what that would look like, xy over x plus xy over y equals 3xy. So I've multiplied every term by xy, and then if we cancel things where we can, the x's cancel there, the y's cancel here, so really we're left with y plus x equals 3xy. We're still trying to make x the subject of this formula. Okay, so collect up the x's on the same side. Let's put them over here. So we've got x, and we've got minus 3xy equals minus y on that side. Let's take x out as a common factor, so that would be 1 minus 3y equals minus y, and then we've got x equals minus y over 1 minus 3y, just dividing through. And again we can do that trick with a negative, so we can take the negative from the top of the fraction and multiply it through in the denominator of the fraction, so that would give us x equals y on the top, and then it becomes minus 1 and plus 3y. Let's write those the other way around so it just looks neater. Y over 3y minus 1. Okay, now then, some extension questions for people who are feeling a little bit brave and feeling confident. Let's write extension on there for people. Okay, so first extension question. Make t the subject. Of this formula. T plus a over t plus b equals t plus c over t plus d. Alright, can you have a go at that? And you might be feeling brave to do it on your iPad using Explain Everything or a bit of software, and sticking the video back on YouTube as a reply. That would be pretty impressive. Okay, and what about this one? So you might even recognize this formula. Let's write make a the subject. So if you've looked at any A-level maths textbooks, you might recognize this. This is the sum to end terms for an arithmetic progression. Don't worry if you haven't, because you don't need to know anything about it really to be able to rearrange it. So can you make a the subject of that formula? S equals n over 2 brackets 2a plus n minus 1d. Don't be put off by the square brackets, they're just normal brackets. We've just used square brackets here because we already used curly brackets here, curved brackets here. Alright, and again, if you fancy having a go at making a video and posting it on YouTube, I would be most impressed. Thank you very much for listening.